How's it going today, folks? I'm here to bring you the March 2020 version of the Walleye Pro Box. Just got this today from Mystery Tackle Box. It's my first ever subscription, and time to open it up and see what kind of baits it's got. As usual, you've got your what's inside card, how to add things onto your Pro Box or your box to order. You've got the Dibbles tips and tricks for Mystery Tackle Box. And how about we get into it and see what kind of baits we got for this month. Now, in Saskatchewan here, walleye season closes March 31st, but if there's any open pits that have been privately stocked or stocked by the government, they're not considered a legitimate body of water, so you can fish them all year round without having to worry about season being open or closed due to the fish that are stocked and not breeding, I believe. Now, I'd have to check my regulations and double check, but I'm pretty sure that if it's a stocked pit in somebody's backyard or an old mine pit, you can fish it all year, which is kind of nice. So let's dive into our first bait here and read you some info about it. Right here we have the Weston Ring Tees. It's a 5-inch bait, 1/4 ounce weight. You get 6 of them in a package, 6 different colors, and you can set them up as drop shot, jig, or Texas rig or Carolina rig. Now, these are paddle tail, and I've had some pretty good luck fishing the local lakes with paddle tails and grub tails. Now, I found paddle tails do work, but the fork tails usually work the best. I've never actually heard of Western Scandinavia, but as soon as walleye opens back up in May, I'll give these a shot and I will give you guys an update. Now, I've never used these exact baits, but I have used Mr. Twister shad paddle tails and have had great results on the lakes out here. Our next bait is a Phantom Voodoo VS7 Fire Tiger color. It is a individually hand painted, factory tuned, tank tested. The VS7 floating voodoo shad crushes an open water searching pattern that dives 10 to 12 feet with a medium side-to-side action. Speed freaks and lead core trollers appreciate the narrow tail and wider bill that gives it 40 to 60% death roll / kickoff back, but still runs true to 4 miles per hour with 0 blowout. Deadly when twitched and slow rolled at excruciatingly slow speeds during patterns of cold weather to internal BB rattles to ring the dinner bell. Now, I've caught 2 or 3 different species of fish on these. I've had good luck on baits like this for yellow perch in midsummer when they're up shallow. Even though they are kind of a colder water fish, I've caught them just off the edge of weed lines. I've also caught walleye on these. I've caught largemouth bass on these. These are all around a good crankbait if you're fishing an area that you're used to, or you're in a boat and you're trying to, like it says, search to find the fish. Usually good off of rocky points and drop-offs, but I'm kind of new at this, so I couldn't exactly tell you where they would be. But all in all, good bait. Our next one here is, holy, would you look at that? The Guggen Scout. Now, this is a medium diving or shallow diving jerkbait that dives about 4 to 6 feet. It's 4 1/3 inches. It weighs about a 1/2 ounce. Now, I haven't had too much luck on jerkbaits because I'm not a big fan. I've caught a lot of fish on jigs and soft bodies, but I also have caught a fair amount of decent sized fish on jerkbaits themselves. This would probably be better off early late spring when the walleye are up shallow, for the simple fact is, if you're trying to fish this in deep water, you would probably have a hard time catching anything that's of substantial size. You might catch, maybe a pound, 2 pound walleye, but for a walleye box. Come on, MTB. Jerkbait. Shallow diving jerkbait. On to the next bait. We have Big Bite Baits Pro Series, designed to bring the big bite to your line. Now, these would probably work really well come midsummer, early fall when the bait fish stop running around. For the simple fact is the walleye will start feeding on grubs, things that are falling in the water, leeches, crayfish, stuff that's easily accessible and less, let's say, less of a pain in the butt to catch. But here's a close-up look. I personally think these will work really well come late summer, early fall. They've got a nice clear bluish metallic flake to them. It'll work good in clear water, maybe even a little bit darker water. Sorry about that. First video I've done, so try not to give me shit. Can't wait to try these out. Really can't. Maybe early spring they'll work, late spring when the walleye are up shallow and coming into the creeks and the rivers, river mouths spawn when they're up shallow. But who knows? Maybe we'll see come start of summer when season opens back up and the guy's able to get back out on the boat and get a line wet. Here we go. Now we have Best Jig Heads. It's a 4-pack, run-of-the-mill, quarter-ounce jigs, Carl's. For the first box I've ever gotten, 4 jig heads isn't too much, but I'm glad to see that at least you're getting some terminal tackle to go with the baits that you have. Quarter ounce is good come early summer, midsummer, you get down deeper. 1/8 ounce, 16th ounce are only good when it's ice fishing season because they don't get down fast enough and the walleye are usually hanging out lower. But I've caught walleye in all depths of water kind of all year round now. I'm not a pro by any means. This is around the first time I've actually got an MTB box, and I figured, what the hell, try to do a review. First video I've actually ever put out. Maybe if you guys enjoy this, I will put out some actual fishing videos out on the boat and maybe some shore fishing where people don't usually go. Maybe some pit fishing just to show you guys that, you know, even pits can be fished. Alrighty, on to the next one. Here we go. Here is a Vexen Crystal Reaper. It is a 3/16 ounce straight jigging lure. Now, I've used these style of baits in the winter when the ice is nice and thick and you can jig straight up and down. I don't have much experience with them during the summer and open water season, but maybe this year when I get out on the lake and my boat's anchored because I found a nice spot that's got a few nice walleye sitting on them, I'll give this a shot. It's got a nice weight. It'll stay straight down instead of being trolled around because it's a vertical jigging, not a casting lure. Maybe tip it with a minnow or some leech parts to cut up leech. I couldn't tell you. Like I said, I don't have much experience with these during the summer, but I know in the winter they do kick some ass. On to the Stickies finely crafted hooks, size 2 Aberdeen hook. It's a 20-pack. These are good for live bait, worms, crayfish, minnows, frozen minnows, because in Saskatchewan here you can't use live bait, which kind of sucks because there's so much of it to go around, but it's against the law, so can't really do it. Now to add a couple of other things in here, I picked these up at a different place today, but they're almost next to impossible to find where I live because it's Saskatchewan. Some of the laws are loose, but others are fairly tight. are some Lunker Hunt Tungsten Micro Teardrop jigs. Anything under an 1/8 ounce in Saskatchewan for ice fishing sucks. It doesn't get down far enough, it doesn't get down fast enough, and it doesn't get down deep enough. Whenever you jig, it feels like there's nothing on the end of your line, so if you do end up catching something, it's few and far between for a hookup. But at least with tungsten, it's a little bit heavier. The jigs are nice and small, so when a walleye or a perch inhales it, it's an easy hookup and it's an easy snag. Well, not snag, but it's an easy hook set, and you have a higher chance of actually catching fish. There's 2 colors here. There is a turquoise green and a pink. Now, I've had good hookup ratios on this pink one before. I've never actually tried the turquoise, for the simple fact is I'm always using either a shad or a darter minnow pattern, or a darker pattern, for the simple fact is either water is usually pretty murky and dirty, or it's really clear. Some days it varies, but if winter season, it's usually fairly clear. Alrighty, thank you for your time. You folks have a nice day. I'm sorry if this video was kind of sucky. First one I've ever done, and thought I'd give it a shot. Alrighty. Keep your lines tight and enjoy fishing.